May I now request the guest of honor, Mr. Prashant Kundra, to deliver the speech. Over to you, sir.
Very good evening to all the respected dignitaries here, the organizers, and all the students, and one and all. Very good evening to all of you. First of all, thank you, MIT, for inviting me as an evaluator, as well as giving opportunity to speak in this forum. Thank you very much for that. In my view, and in my experience, hackathons are always fascinating. Okay, I mean, I remember in my early days, we used to, think about the T-shirts and pizzas, but then, later it turns into more of a fascination about technology. Having said that, I think in the last 3 days, what I observed, I think SIH Hackathon is one of the wonderfully managed event, and thanks to MIT being one of the nodal center, I think it is very well managed. So I think considering one of the biggest hackathons in the world, I think it's a fascinating experience. As Dr. Ashish told, I am feeling jealous of the student because I can't participate. However, I have an idea. I think from Siemens, definitely we want to come up with some problem statements, probably. And in that way we can still participate. So that is something I will definitely think about it. Okay, that is the motivation at least I got from this event. I mean, I myself responsible for driving technology and innovation within our group. One of the thing we realized in last few years is hackathons are definite means to innovate. Okay, it's not just for innovation, it is also to upgrade the skills. I mean, coincidentally, we are currently running a hackathon. Last week itself, I was part of that jury as well to select finalists on edge computing and software engineering applying artificial intelligence. So, I mean, what we realized is, apart from the skill upgrade, we really get few invention disclosures, few product ideas out of each of our hackathon. That also is a benefit to company or Siemens. Yeah. So in my view, there are immense opportunities for us to innovate. But what is important in my view, having a problem statement, and my experience tells that most of us are in solution domain. What we try to do, or what I tried to do initially, is come up with a solution, then search for the problem. I mean, sometime it worked, but I think it is not the right approach. We all need to have a problem, then only go for a solution. And how do you get problem? Yes, that is a big problem, because to have a problem, we need to have expertise of the domain, expertise of, what are the existing products in that area. That is where I would say we have very less people who can give real customer problem. Because one of my friend once told, why don't we ask to our customers what problems we have and we solve all of them. I told him, I mean, if we ask customers, he will tell or she will tell in totally different terms. I mean, he might tell, I want to increase my production by say 40%. And we as software architects or system architects or developers, I mean, we will wonder what is that we can do here. So that is where we need people who bridge the gap between the customers and the software architects. So that is where we have people who are in high demand in this area, because it is one of the toughest thing to link the problem to the solution. Yeah. Then the next point, I really liked Dr. Ashish's speech during the inaugural function. Be prepared for failures. I mean, I think most of you know Edison, for inventing bulb. Someone told he had 1,000 tries and maybe 999 failures. Somebody asked Edison, why did you waste so much time? And Edison told, I now know how in 999 ways not to invent a bulb. Okay, that also each of that is a learning. He knows what he should not do, which typically many people hesitate to talk. If it is a failure, no books, nothing. I mean, everybody want to read success stories, how things have churned out. But I would say be ready to read failures so that you come to know how to overcome things. Yeah, another thing is, in my view, innovation can be small or big. I want to give my own examples. I mean, thankfully, I worked in all my career mainly for product companies in the industrial automation domain. I mean, initially when I joined Siemens, I would say around 15 years back, we had a lot of drive, Siemens being a product company, to protect ideas using patents. And, I got motivated, let us try something. And if I go back to some of my invention disclosure and read it now, I myself will laugh for hours, right? I mean, still my managers, my boss encouraged, did not discourage me to go ahead. So that is where, as you pointed out, I was able to till now achieve around 10 patent applications filed for various of our product lines. And some of them are not even in our product. I mean, it is more from a hobby in the sense it is a probable case for future products. Such things also we have protected. So initially, I used to think, I used to see others patenting. I used to wonder how and what they are doing, especially in the industry. In academics, yes, I know there are a lot of patents, you people file. So now after filing, I can definitely guide. That is also one of my job. I guide others within our group on how to write invention disclosures, how to write patents, and how to, innovate. Yeah, the other point regarding innovation, make innovation as your hobby. So that means innovation need not be only in the office. Innovation can be in the way we work at home, the way we deal with people. I always, get fascinated by Germans in this world, because all of you know Germans are great in engineering. Whenever I talk to my system architect counterparts or other senior people and ask them, how was your, education or engineering? What kind of project you used to do? Most of them, tell academic project is one thing, but I did assemble a train system. Then I tried to connect to Siemens PLC. I did something. I mean, that is something really fascinating, because if I look back at my education and what kind of projects I have done, I cannot compare. I mean, I see Germans, it is in their hobby. I mean, they want to do something in the engineering or in the automation area. So comparatively, I think the students in the current era are definitely lucky in the institutes like MIT or others. They get an excellent infrastructure to innovate. I myself saw a couple of videos shared on the inauguration day and went to the website. I think it's a wonderful opportunity, which I missed. I mean, if I remember, when I joined Mysore University 22 years back, we didn't have proper computer facility also. I mean, after we finished first semester, we got the first lot of computers, and I still remember Mr. Devagowda and Mr. Siddaramaiah came at the time to inaugurate our lab. So comparatively, you guys are in a very well placed to innovate. So yeah, I think, another point is innovation can be definitely done wherever you are, whether you are at a startup, whether you are at a MNC like me, it can be done. So don't get carried away by thinking only in startup you can innovate. I mean, even the product companies or even other companies, they need innovation of one or the other sort. So I want to end this short speech wishing a bright future for all of you. Keep ideating, keep innovating, and importantly, enjoy every moment. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Prashant Upunda. It was a privilege to have listened to your invaluable experience.